Hey everybody, today I wanted to do a full review of the Glock 17. What an amazing pistol it is, especially for the weight and the ease of carry. So here I am at the 25-yard line, and I'm firing at a single sheet of paper. I had to turn the paper sideways because of the wind that day. This range I'm at is always extremely windy. But let me just say, first of all, that I know I am not the best shooter, and the gun itself is capable of more, but I strongly prefer the Weaver stance I'm using here. I don't like isosceles because I have back issues. I know that isosceles is a better stance for accuracy, but regardless, I still was totally confident in its use. I have no qualms at all using the Glock in a self-defense situation. And I'm firing 124 grain NATO rounds, and you can see here I'm landing around 10 hits per mag on a single sheet of paper. So if that had been a silhouette target, it would have been probably around all hits, or maybe 14 or 15 hits per mag. So 25 yards, absolutely no problem. Could have taken this out to 50. But I more so wanted to test the function of it and the ergonomics and the feel. It's so lightweight, and you know, that's usually a very good thing, but you have to bear in mind, it does not stay as steady as a heavier gun, which, you know, Glock owners know that and they accept that. It's part of the ease of carry because they rather have it on them because it's easy to carry rather than a big heavy gun at home. So I had a great time though. You'll notice this particular one is chrome plated, and that's not for looks. I had it chrome plated because early on I actually was getting sweat on it. It was my fault, not the guns, but I was getting sweat on it and it was rusting. So I had it chrome plated and that solved that. And I also learned how to keep sweat off of it. But I really like the chrome plating. It's very slick and it makes the action very smooth. So I like that a lot. You might be able to see some very slight pitting on the slide from before it was chrome plated. But aside from that, I've also done other work to it. I have the factory connector and some other parts replaced. Real quick, I want to show you, you can see it's gotten pretty filthy though, because I took it to the range and it was very oily. I do keep it pretty well oiled, and the oil seemed to absorb some of the carbon, which, you know, that's totally normal and totally reliable. This is still a perfectly functional firearm, but I'm going to clean it anyway. I am a very clean person. And you can see I really did kind of go overboard with the oil, and so it seemed to absorb some of the carbon more. But if you oil the connector where it meets the trigger bar, you get a little bit smoother trigger, so I do that. You can also see here I've got the 25-cent trigger job, that is, I've polished the internals. So yeah, it's got the polished internals, connector, trigger spring, and the trigger is, in my opinion, better if you do those mods. I enjoyed that more so. The stock trigger was a little bit heavier than I'd like. I did have one magazine-related issue. It's not the gun's fault. I don't know why. I think the top round of the mag may have been forward and it jammed up. Just the top round jammed up. It kind of pushed down before the feed ramp, and I think that was my fault. I'm pretty sure, because it was the top round, I think, sliding up against the inside of the mag well that was too far forward, and I slammed it really hard so that the slide went forward, and it seemed to have stripped the round before the round could fully correct its angle. So that's extremely rare. It is the only malfunction I've ever had in a Glock, and I really don't think it's the Glock's fault. I think it was a mag issue and my own mishandling. So I'm not going to dock the Glock at all for that. But, you know, just, you know, it's a data point. I still think Glock's probably the most reliable pistol ever made, because bear in mind, I've fired Glocks for years and years and never had a problem. But just, I had one little hiccup, it was more my fault. I also want to show you, I took out the firing pin safety plunger spring, as you can see down there in the middle. That makes the trigger lighter, and it also makes it more consistent. And before you guys, you know, give me too much of a hard time, I did test drop it with a snap cap just to see, you know, if it would go off, and it didn't. It still dropped safe, at least, you know, to a modern extent. Plus, I'm usually over dirt. The magazine has this little nub on it, which I kind of think Glock should angle. The mags are a little bit difficult to clean, and if you live in a clean environment, like an urban environment, you probably don't care that much because you don't need to clean your mags that often. But I live in the desert and there's sand everywhere. So I got to clean my mags all the time. But overall, absolutely impressed with it. It is possibly the best pistol ever made. I have some others that I like as well. It's a little too light for me, as funny as that sounds, but I think if you're into lightweight, this is definitely the pistol for you. So strongly recommended.